أحسنت. بل محمد وآل محمد صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. حسین شہید شہید الحسین، حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین، حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین، حسین شہید شہید الحسین. کیا جشن برپا یوں اہل ہوس نے، شہیدوں کے لاشوں پہ ڈھانکے بجائے، جلا ڈال آل محمد کے خیمے، سکینہ کے منہ پر تماچے ہمارے، جو بیمار تھا اس کا بستر نہ چھوڑا، نبی زادیوں پر بھی درے جلائے، حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین، حسین شہید شہید الحسین. اور اٹھی اپنے مرکز سے بنت محمد، سیاہ شب کی چادر میں چہرہ چھپا کر، گئی کربلا میں تو اس نے یہ دیکھا، ہے بوسیدہ کرتے میں ایک لاش بے سر، بدن سارا تیروں سے چھلنی پڑا ہے، لہو میں ہے ڈوبا ہوا سارا پیکر، حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین، حسین شہید شہید الحسین. اور کیا جشن برپا یوں اہل ہوس نے، شہیدوں کے لاشوں پہ ڈھانکے بجائے، جلا ڈال آل محمد کے خیمے، سکینہ کے منہ پر تماچے ہمارے، جو بیمار تھا اس کا بستر نہ چھوڑا، نبی زادیوں پر بھی درے چلائے، حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین، حسین شہید شہید الحسین. دہائی دہائی خدا را دہائی، یہ دشت بلا میں ہے کیسی تباہی، بہایا ہے کس نے یہ خون محمد، قیامت یہ ڈھائی ہے کس نے الہی، جوانوں بزرگوں کو مارا گیا ہے، شہیدوں میں شامل ہے ننھا سپاہی حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین حسین شہید شہید الحسین حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین حسین شہید شہید الحسین اٹھی اپنے مرقد سے بنت محمد سیاہ شب کی چادر میں چہرہ چھپا کر اور گئی کربلا میں تو اس نے یہ دیکھا ہے بوسیدے کرتے میں ایک لاش بے سر بدن سارا تیروں سے چھلنی پڑا ہے لہو میں ہے ڈوبا ہوا سار پہ کر حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین حسین شہید شہید الحسین ور محمد و آل محمد صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد ما شاء الله لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد واللعنة الدائمة الباقية على أعدائهم أجمعين أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد وفرقانه الحميد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وجعلناهم أئمة يهدون بأمرنا وأوحينا إليهم فعل الخيرات وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة وكانوا لنا عابدين آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. My dear elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. 29th of Dhul Qa'dah, it is the martyrdom anniversary of our ninth Imam, Imam Mohamed At-Taqi, salawatullah wa salamuhu alayh. And I want to begin with one advice of Imam, which is inshallah for our benefit in this world as well as in the hereafter. There was a person by the name of Ismail bin Sahal. He said that I wrote to the ninth Imam, Imam Muhammad At-Taqi alayhi salam, and he asked this question, and he said, or sought an advice from Imam, teach me something which if I say, I will be together with you in this world and in the hereafter. Teach me something, writing to ninth Imam, something which if I say, so it's not a question of something to act upon, but something to say. If I say, then I will be with you in this world as well as in the hereafter. And ninth Imam alayhi salam, in reply, he wrote, recite the chapter of surah or chapter of Inna Anzalna frequently. Number one, recite Inna Anzalna frequently. Remember, the question was to be with you in this world as well as in the hereafter. Recite Inna Anzalna frequently. And then Imam said, moisten your lips with seeking forgiveness. That is, pray to Allah Azza wa Jal, to ask from Allah Azza wa Jal, seeking forgiveness from Allah Azza wa Jal. It is when you move your lips and you are saying Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh, or Astaghfirullah, or in any way when you do istighfar, moisten your lips, and this is the cause by which you will be with us in this world as well as in the hereafter. A very simple advice that Imam gave, but a beautiful advice, something which is going to be of our benefit in this world as well as in the hereafter. Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. When we discuss about our ninth Imam, we have to understand one thing, that this is an Imam who lived for 25 years only in this world. Born in the year 195 and passed away in the year 220. Only 25 years. And out of these 25 years, 17 years were that of his imamat. 17 years were that of his leadership. Take from the first Imam and coming down up to the 8th Imam. I will go through quickly to say that first Imam, we believe him to be the Imam immediately after the death of the Holy Prophet. So at that time, the age of first Imam was 33 years. We say he is young. When you talk about the second Imam, his age was 37 years when he assumed the leadership and the imamat. When you talk about the third Imam was 46 years when he assumed and became the Imam after Imam Hassan alayhi salam. When you look at the fourth Imam, whose imamat began in the state of that tragedy, on the plains of Karbala, and on the very first day of his imamat he becomes a captive. But his age at that time was 22 years. When you look at the fifth Imam, he was 38 years when his father, fourth Imam, passed away and fifth Imam took up the leadership. Sixth Imam was 31 years old and the seventh Imam was 20 years old when he assumed the leadership. When you come down to the ninth Imam, now this is the unique situation in the life of ninth Imam, that he assumes this leadership of the Muslim Ummah when he was only 8 or, according to some historians, 9 years old. So that question that comes into our mind is that how did our ninth Imam program and how did he fulfill his responsibilities of this leadership of this imamat? This is the question that I want to try and answer today, that in looking at the situation at that time, a 8 or 9 year old has assumed the leadership. Okay? Today, if there is a young man, 20 years old, he comes and he says, I want to be the president of the Jamaat. He starts campaigning. One of the things that will not be in his favor and it will be counted as negative is that he has no experience. And a person maybe who is 35, 40 years and has served in the community in various capacities, if he were to stand, then that would not apply. That factor would not apply to say that he doesn't have experience. 8 years, 9 years old. Mostly people do ask this question, and I'm sure all of you know the answer to this. I will just go through very quickly that when it comes down to divine leadership, age is not a factor. And we find this in the Holy Quran, that Nabi Isa alayhi salam is still an infant, and what does he say? Inni Abdullah, I am servant of Allah. Atani al-kitab, he has given me a book. Waja'alani nabiyya, and has made me a prophet. So, as far as that leadership, when it is divine leadership, age is not a question. But we know that A'immah Tahirin alayhimus salam did not live and lead their life in this world with miracles. To say that if they wanted food, they would just raise their hands and talk to Allah and say, Allah, send manna wa salwa upon us. No, when we look into the life of A'immah Tahirin alayhimus salam, we find that these imams were those who used to work by their own hands and used to earn their own lawful living. They would have farms, they would have orchards, and they would be working. Imam Ali bin Abi Talib alayhi salam is no one to have worked for a Jew in order to earn his lawful living. So, when we look at it from ordinary point of view, how did ninth Imam pick up this leadership? The reason I picked up this question or put up this question today is that we realize that the talent youths have, and how should a youth spend his life? How should a youth spend his life? There is a narration about our ninth Imam, that after the martyrdom of eighth Imam, he was young, 8, 9 years old. People come to visit him. One person came to visit him and he had brought a toy. He said, he is young, I will give him this toy. Part of this toy was made of silver. So what he did was that he hid it in his sleeve like this. And then he came in the presence of Imam. There were many people. And then after that, one by one started leaving. And he was the last one left. And he came in the presence of Imam and he offered this toy to say, Mullah, this is a gift for you. Imam looked at it and Imam then replied, we have not been created to play with this. We have not been created to play with this. We apply, and when we look at our youths, we need to put this thing into the mind that Allah Azza wa Jal has not created. And when we reach to that stage of youth, we have not been created so that we pass our time vainlessly. We pass our time in vain. We pass our time, in a manner that has got no benefit at all. Rather, spend our time in a manner by which we benefit ourselves individually, and at the same time we can also benefit the society. I will now present here the points that I want to make regarding the Ninth Imam, so that we can understand that this Imam, who assumed leadership at the age of 9, died at the age of 25, during this period, how did he spend his life? The first factor, the first obstacle that came in front of Imam was the obstacle or the problem regarding his age. 8th Imam alayhi salam is martyred. 9th Imam is in Medina. There is a dispute amongst the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. There are people who are not ready to accept the 9th Imam as Imam. So some of them go to the uncle of 9th Imam. His name was Abdullah bin Musa, brother of 8th Imam. Abdullah bin Musa, they go to him, they ask him questions, and he is unable to answer those questions. But they believe, how can a boy who is 8 or 9 years old could become an Imam? There were others who joined a group which is called Waqifi. This is the group that believed that after 8th Imam, there is no Imam, and the Imamat has stopped over here. Waqifi, they joined that group. But we will not accept 9th Imam to be the Imam because of his age. Yet there were others who went to Ahmad bin Musa, another uncle of 9th Imam, and they believed him that he is the Imam. And there were others who came from far, not only Medina, but came from other places, who came in the presence of 9th Imam, and they asked him questions. And when they received correct responses and replies and answers from our 9th Imam, that is the time when they accepted that he is the Imam of our time. Age does not matter to us. He is appointed by Allah Azza wa Jal. So the point to understand over here, my dear elders, brothers and sisters, is that it is our belief that Imam of the time is the most knowledgeable of all the people. And based on that, Imam Muhammad Taqi alayhi salam explained that. Okay, recite salawat, please. Now, let me just give you an incident to verify in order to explain this point. At that time, during the time of 9th Imam, You have heard about a person, a scholar, who had questioned Ninth Imam in the presence of Mamun, Yahya bin Aktham. An incident about Yahya bin Aktham is that he was in the mosque of the Holy Prophet. This is in Medina. He is in the mosque. Ninth Imam is there also. According to Muntahal A'mal, the book Muntahal A'mal by Sheikh Abbas Qummi alayhi rahmah, it is mentioned that they were doing the tawaf of the grave of the Holy Prophet. Maybe during that time there was that system that people would go around the grave of the Holy Prophet, maybe reciting ziyarat or whatever it is. So they went and they were all doing that tawaf, both of them. When that was over, Yahya bin Aktham came to our Ninth Imam and he said, I want to ask you some questions. Age of Imam, still very young, 8, 9 years. I want to ask you some questions. He asked, Imam replied. After that, Yahya said, I want to ask you something which I feel ashamed to do so. I want to ask you something which I feel ashamed to do so. Sometimes you want to ask someone a question and we tell him, maaf kar jo, tumne aa sawal karu chu. Okay. Imam told him, before you ask your question, I will inform you of it, and you are going to ask me about who is the Imam at present time. Ninth Imam is telling him, you are going to ask me who is going to be the Imam at, or who is the Imam by in present time. Yahya said, Wallah, yes, this is the question that I was going to ask you. And Imam said, I am that Imam. I am that Imam. Yahya did not stop there. What is the sign? What is the proof? You have something written? Is there any documentary evidence where it is said that you are the Ninth Imam? What is the sign? What is the proof? Imam was holding a stick at that time, and the stick that was in his hand started speaking and in front of the Imam, and it said, I bear witness that he is my master. That is the Ninth Imam. He is my master and he is the leader and Allah's hujjah on this earth. So this is how Imam overcame this obstacle, and that obstacle was about his age and he being the Imam. Right. The second way that Imam came about is that he revealed his God-given knowledge. He revealed his God-given knowledge. How? After the martyrdom of 8th Imam, Imam, of course, by i'jaz, by miracle, he had gone to Khurasan, he gave ghusl, he gave kafan, right? And after that, Imam was buried, but Imam, of course, returned to Medina. And after that, in Masjid an-Nabi, Imam goes on the mimbar of the Holy Prophet, and he said that, I am Muhammad bin Ali al-Rida. He introduces himself. I am Muhammad bin Ali al-Rida. I am fully aware of every person's lineage. Talking to the people in Medina. I am fully aware of every person's lineage. I know your overt and covert situations, and I know about your future. I know what is open about you, I know what is secret about you, and I know what is going to be your future. And then Imam says, this is the knowledge that Allah gave us before the creation. This is the knowledge that Allah gave us before the creation, and we will enjoy it even after the destruction of the heavens and the earth. So Imam disclosed about his God-given knowledge. And at that time, as it is written, that Imam was asked questions, whether he was being tested or whether people wanted to learn, and Imam replied to each and every question. Okay? So this is another way by which Imam proved that he is the Imam. Okay? Remember, it is that leadership. Unless and until we accept that leadership, that this person is a leader, we are not going to follow him. When we accept him that he is our leader, and he is going to guide us, and he is going to make the plans for us and tell us, this is how the community is going to run, this is how the institution is going to run, this is how any society is going to run. If we accept. If we don't accept, naturally we are not going to follow what he says. Imam wanted people to follow the right path. Right? The third way by which people became aware was performance of extraordinary acts. I want to make one thing very clear, that it was not always that A'immah Tahirin alayhimus salam used to do acts that would be extraordinary. That is something which people would be amazed to see. Even the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Even he was not doing extraordinary acts until and unless it was demanded, or until and unless it was necessary. But look at this event that I want to mention. This is, and the effect of it afterwards. Okay? This is a person by the name of Ali bin Khalid. Ali bin Khalid narrates about this. He said that during the time when I was living in Samarra, a person who had come from Sham, he was locked up in the prison of Samarra. And the reason that he was locked up was, the reason that was given to the people was that he claims of prophethood. He claims of a prophethood. So Ali bin Khalid said, I went to visit him and I wanted to find out. So I asked him, what is the matter? So he said, I live in Sham and I worship Allah Azza wa Jal at a place which is called Ra'sul Husain. I don't know how many of you have been to Syria and have visited that place, Ra'sul Husain. It is said that it is that place where the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam was hanged and blood was dropping from there. And then they built up a masjid there. He said, I was worshipping I used to continuously worship there. He said, one night I was in my ibadat in Mihrab, when suddenly a person came. He stood in front of me. When I looked at him, he told me, stand up. I stood up. And then he said, walk with me. He said, we walked a little, and the next I see, we walked a little, and the next I see is that we are in Masjid Kufa. We are in Masjid Kufa. He prayed there, I also prayed there. When we finished the prayer, he said, walk with me. We walked a little, and the next moment I see that I am in Masjidun Nabi. And with him, he recited ziyarah and prayed, and I recited ziyarah and I prayed. After that he told me, walk with me. We walked a little, and the next I find is that I am in Masjidul Haram. He performed the tawaf, I performed the tawaf. When we finished, he said, walk with me. When you walk, what do I find? That I am in the same spot where I was in that masjid at Ra'sul Husain. He said, I was thrilled. He didn't see the man again. He said, after 1 year, he came again and repeated the same way. Masjid Kufa, Masjid Nabi, Mecca, back to Ra'sul Husain. He said, at that time I asked him. He said, I ask you, this man, he says, I ask you, by the right of the one who has bestowed you the power to do what I just witnessed from you, tell me who you are. And he said, the man told me, I am Muhammad bin Ali bin Musa bin Ja'far. After that he went away. He said that I told few people about what had happened to me. And this matter reached to one of the advisor or one of the minister of Mu'tasim. When that minister heard about this, he called for this man and he was imprisoned, and people were told, because he is claiming prophethood, we have imprisoned him. So Ali bin Khalid, after listening to what this man said, truly this is what you underwent? He said, yes, truly I underwent through this. Let me tell you now, Ali bin Khalid was not a Shia. Ali bin Khalid used to follow Zaydis. At that time, Zaydis were also a deviated group. Zaydi. So he went there. He said to him, Ali bin Khalid is saying to him, shall I plead on your behalf to the minister so that you can be released and your matter should be known? He said, yes. Ali bin Khalid did not go directly to the minister. He wrote a letter. And in that letter he explained everything and sent it to the minister. The minister in reply wrote to him that this man claims that he went to Masjid Kufa and all these places. Tell him that that man who took him to all these places, make him release from this prison. This is the reply he wrote. When Ali bin Khalid received the reply, maybe he received the reply or the letter quite late in the day, so he said, the next day I will go and inform that this is the reply that I have received. Ali bin Khalid said that when I went there in order to inform, I saw that there were so many guards, and the guards were running from one place to another. So I asked one of them as to what has happened. Why is there so much running around? He said that prisoner who was there, either the earth has swallowed him or the bird has taken him, because we cannot find him in this place. Ali bin Khalid understood what that minister had written. Even before that man could plead, Imam already knew about it. Imam had released him. Ali bin Khalid left his following of Zaydiyah and started following the Imamat of Imam Muhammad Taqi, salawatullah wa salamuhu alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa. So this was the third thing, and this is how Imam used to help the people. Now, the fourth challenge Imam had was that of the deviated ideologies. Something which today we find that there are people who follow the madhab of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, but then they come up with different ideologies. They come up with different ideas. During that time, there were people who had different ideologies regarding Imamat, regarding Islam. There were people who were called Mujassam or Mujassamiya, right? Believing, astaghfirullah, al-ayadhu billah, that Allah has a body. There were the Waqifis, there were the Zaydiyas, there were the Ghulat. All these were deviated people. How did Imam face them? How did Imam try to remove this obstacle? He made an order, and the first order that he made was that you shall not pay zakat to these people. You shall not pay zakat to these type of people, number one. Number two is, you will not make them the prayer leader to lead Salatul Jama'ah. In other words, you will not pray behind them, and in your communities you will not appoint one of them to come and lead the namaz. And then Imam said that it is because that Allah Azza wa Jal has disassociated them, and therefore we also have to disassociate from them. In this way, Imam does not use any force. Imam only uses that principle in the Islamic Sharia, that is, you disconnect with them, disassociate, do not give importance to them because of their beliefs, because of whatever perverted ideologies they may be having. Do not follow that. That was the fourth challenge. The fifth challenge was about his association with the Khilafat. Let me tell very quickly about the life of this ninth Imam as far as his connection with the Banu Abbasi Khalifa was. Mamun gave poison to 8 Imam. Right? The reaction of the followers of 8 Imam, they were angry with Mamun. So how does Mamun subdue them? How does he bring them under control? He started having and treating the 9th Imam in a very good manner. He started treating the 9th Imam in very good manner, and he did not listen to anyone who opposed the 9th Imam. Ma'mun did not even listen to his own daughter al-Fadl, who was wife of 9th Imam and who was complaining to her father about the 9th Imam. Even Ma'mun was not ready to listen to his own daughter. As far as 9th Imam was concerned, Imam was respected. Imam found living with Ma'mun. By this time Ma'mun had moved to Baghdad. He had killed Imam Ali Rida alayhi salam in Khurasan, and then after that he came to Baghdad. Now he had the control of the whole Banu Abbasi Khilafat. He had come to Baghdad. Baghdad was the center. Imam found it very difficult to stay at that time. So what Imam did was, once he told Ma'mun, it's a season of Hajj, I want to go for Hajj. So he took al-Fadl himself and whoever they were, they went to Mecca, and from Mecca then he went to Medina. And then Imam stayed in Medina until Mamun passed away from this world. So that was the time Imam spent, because we will come to the sixth point. That is the time when Imam spent in Medina, and he was living there. And then when Mu'tasim came, Mu'tasim, after some time, called the Ninth Imam. Because people were, you know, what we say, telling Mu'tasim that that's Ninth Imam is preparing against you and he is the leader. You look after him, have your eye upon him. So he called him to Baghdad or Samarra, and they were staying there. Imam had a companion whose name was Husaini Makkari. Once Imam was coming. He was maybe going towards the palace of Mu'tasim. Imam was riding. Imam's head was down. Husaini Makkari thought, Imam is not going to live this life which is comfortable for him. There is no problem here. Food is available in plenty. Imam is living properly. I'm not saying Imam was living luxuriously, no. Properly. Okay. Husaini Makkari thought that Imam will not return to Medina. He only thought, Imam raised his head. When Husaini Makkari looked at the face of Imam, he found the face of Imam very pale. When a person is sad, very pale. And he told, "Oh Hussein, I prefer barley with half ground salt. I prefer barley and salt in the city of Prophet Mohammed to this situation that I am in." This is how Imam is spending his youth. He was living in that area. Today, if I have a comfortable life, I wouldn't want to live. But if with this comfortable life, I am leading a life which is spiritually empty, then there is no purpose for me to lead that type of life. And this is one lesson that we have to take from the life of Ninth Imam. That spiritually we have to become strong. Materially, whatever we get, we should be content with. But preparing ourselves spiritually strong and preparing ourselves for the provision in the hereafter. Okay. So this was his stance. He was forced, they were being forced to stay with Banu Abbasi, not that they loved staying with Banu Abbasi. The sixth and the final point is how Imam conducted his leadership was of how to have his eyes, but not only his eyes, but how to have that guidance reach to the people in every corner wherever the followers were. And in that, Imam did the trainings of students, companions. Sheikh Tusi alayhi rahmah has mentioned 113 companions and narrators of ahadith of our Ninth Imam. All trained by Ninth Imam. But at the same time, Imam had trained even those people who were to go and work with Banu Abbas, like Ali bin Yaqtin. he used to work for Harun al-Rashid after he was given permission by 7th Imam. And 7th Imam told him, the permission is granted to you on one condition, that with this position you are going to help the Shias. The same way Imam had appointed one person and had told him, the position is there, but that position is that you are there, you are serving there in the Khilafat of Banu Abbas, but it should be for beneficial to the Shias. And this person, by the name of Mohamed bin Ismail bin Bazi, he is the person who had served the 7th Imam, the 8th Imam, and the 9th Imam. So he was an old person, an old companion who had served all these Imams and looking after the interests of the Shias in the Khilafat of Banu Abbas. There was a person by the name of Nuh ibn Durraj, who was a Shia, but Imam allowed him to become a judge during time of Banu Abbas. He was a judge in Baghdad first, and after that he was moved from Baghdad and he went to Kufa as judge. Right, so those people who were appointed by Banu Abbas, naturally, when Shia matters came, they would order against them. But if Nuh was there, then he would look at the interest of Shia and would judge with justice. And then there were those companions of Imam who were trained, and then Imam sent them to Egypt. Today, if there is Shiaism in Egypt, the root of it was, of course, from the time when you look at North Africa, and that is a very interesting history about how after the martyrdom of 8th Imam, Imam's family had left Khurasan, did not stay in the Arab countries, but they moved towards Africa. And very interesting histories. Inshallah, when I get opportunity talking about this, I will mention about the effect, about the Azadari of Imam Hussein alayhi salam in those countries which today are majority Sunnis. But if there is Shiaism, it was there, the seeds were sown from the time when our Imams were there. During time of 9th Imam, about 3 companions of Imam went to Egypt and they spread the madhab of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam there. This is how, when we look at the leadership of 9th Imam, age of 25, and this is my main point, that at this very young age, how he managed to keep the Shias intact and continue to provide the guidance that was important. We will not find in history that during the time of 9th Imam, the number of the followers of Ahlul Bayt were decreasing and they were going towards others. No, we find that it maintained and people were benefiting from the imamat of our 9th Imam. But as you know, that with every case of A'immah Tahirin alayhimus salam, whether you look at the time period of Banu Umayyah or during Banu Abbas, when they found that there is no way that we can look after and we can, what we say, maintain now and accept and allow these people to live, then they would use any ways to kill the Imam. Azadaro, किताब मुंतहल आमाल में 3 वजह बताई गई है या 3 तरीके बताए गए हैं कि कैसे इमाम मोहम्मद तकी अलैहिस्सलाम को शहीद किया गया। जब मुअतसिम का बुलावा आया, इमाम मदीना में थे, तो इमाम ने अपने खास लोगों को बुलाया था اور ان کو کہا تھا کہ میری شہادت کے بعد میرا جانشین یہ میرا فرزند علی ہوگا. اور اس کے بعد امام آئے تھے. ہاں عزاداروں، تاریخ میں ملتا ہے کہ وہ محرم کا مہینہ تھا کہ جب امام سامرہ پہنچے ہیں سن 220 ہجری میں، اور ذوالقعدہ کا مہینہ آیا اور اس وقت تاریخ میں ملتا ہے یا تو امام کو ایک شربت میں زہر دیا گیا، دوسری وجہ بتائی جاتی ہے کہ امام کو کھانے میں معتصم نے بلایا تھا اور کھانے میں امام کو زہر دیا گیا، اور تیسری طرح جو بتایا جاتا ہے کہ معتصم نے اور ام الفضل کا ایک اور چاچا تھا جس کا نام جعفر تھا، ان دونوں نے ام الفضل کو کہا کہ امام محمد تقی علیہ السلام کو زہر دیا جائے. ہاں عزاداروں، اس چھوٹی سی عمر میں 25 سال میں امام محمد تقی علیہ السلام کو زہر دیا گیا. عزاداروں، باپ کی طرح وہ بھی اکیلے تھے. ہاں شاید کچھ ہوگے رشتہ دار، لیکن پھر بھی وہ غریب تھے، مدینہ سے دور تھے، سامرہ میں تھے. عزاداروں، امام محمد تقی علیہ السلام کی شہادت ہوئی. امام محمد تقی علیہ السلام اپنے جد امام حسین علیہ السلام کو بھی یاد کرتے تھے اور اپنی جدہ بی بی فاطمہ زہرا علیہ السلام کو بھی یاد کرتے تھے. عزاداروں، امام کی زندگی میں ایک واقعہ ملتا ہے کہ جب ہمارے 8ویں امام زندہ تھے مدینہ، اور مدینہ میں امام چھوٹے بچے ایک مرتبہ آئے، امام محمد تقی نے اپنے دونوں ہاتھ زمین پر رکھے اور پھر آسمان کی طرف دیکھا اور کچھ فکر میں مشغول تھے. اس وقت عزاداروں، امام رضا نے پوچھا، بیٹا تو کیا سوچ رہا ہے، کون سی فکر میں ہے؟ امام محمد تقی نے کہا، میں سوچ رہا ہوں کیسے ماں فاطمہ زہرا علیہ السلام پر ظلم کیا گیا. عزاداروں، بی بی فاطمہ کو بھی یاد کرتے تھے، امام حسین کو بھی یاد کرتے تھے. امام محمد تقی کی شہادت ہوئی. اپنے دادا امام موسیٰ کاظم علیہ السلام کے بازو میں امام کو دفن کیا گیا. ہاں امام محمد تقی، آپ کی وفات کے بعد، آپ کی شہادت کے بعد آپ کو غسل بھی دیا گیا، آپ کو کفن بھی پہنایا گیا. آپ کا فرزند بے اعجاز آیا، اس نے یہ سب کیا اور اس کے بعد آپ کو دفن بھی کیا گیا. عزاداروں، یہ امام یہاں تھے اور ایک امام کربلا میں جوان فرزند زندہ ہے، باپ کی لاش زمین پر پڑی ہے، وہ لاش جس پہ گھوڑے دوڑ. وَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنقَلَبٍ يَنقَلِبُونَ إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. اللهم بحق محمد وانت المحمود، وبحق علي وانت الأعلى، وبحق فاطمة وانت فاطر السماوات والأرضين، وبحق الحسن وانت المحسن، وبحق الحسين وانت قديم الإحسان، وبحق 9 المعصومين من ذرية الحسين عليهم السلام. بار الہ، ہماری اس قلیل عزاداری کو تیری بارگاہ میں قبول فرما. بار الہ، ہم دعا کرتے ہیں کہ ہم کو محمد اور آل محمد کی سیرت پر چلنے کی توفیق عطا فرما. بار الہ، دعا ہے کہ جلد از جلد جو راہ بند ہے آج وہ راہ کھل جائے تاکہ ہم عراق، ایران اور مدینہ جا کے ائمہ طاہرین علیہ السلام کی قبروں کی زیارت کر سکے۔ بار الہ ہمارے گناہ کبیرہ اور صغیرہ کو معاف کرنا۔ بار الہ جو بیمار ہے ان کو شفائے عاجل اور صحت کامل عطا فرما۔ بار الہ جو تکلیفوں اور مشکلوں میں ہیں ان کی تکلیفوں اور مشکلوں کو دور فرما۔ بار الہ تیری حجت امام زمانہ کے ظہور میں تعجیل فرما، اس کے اصحاب و انصار میں ہم کو شامل کرنا۔ صلی اللہ علی محمد و آلہ الطاہرین۔ ماتم حسین۔
کہتے تھے رو رو نکی بابا محمد تکی، کہتے تھے رو رو نکی بابا محمد تکی، کیسا غضب ہو گیا بابا محمد تکی، کہتے تھے رو رو نکی بابا محمد تکی، کہتے تھے رو رو نکی بابا محمد تکی، کیسا غضب ہو گیا بابا محمد تکی، کیسا سفر یہ ہوا جس سے جدائی ہوئی، کیسا سفر یہ ہوا جس سے جدائی ہوئی، راہی جنت ہوئے بابا محمد تکی، راہی جنت ہوئے بابا محمد تکی، کہتے تھے رو رو نکی بابا محمد تکی، کہتے تھے رو رو نکی بابا محمد، رو نہ کیوں کر بھلا تم سے جدائی ہوئی، رو نہ کیوں کر بھلا تم سے جدائی ہوئی، آہ میں آج لٹ گیا بابا محمد تکی، آہ میں آج لٹ گیا بابا محمد تکی، کہتے تھے رو رو نکی بابا محمد تکی، کہتے تھے رو رو نکی بابا محمد تکی، کیا کہوں بابا بلا روتی ہے مادر کھڑی، کیا کہوں بابا بلا روتی ہے مادر کھڑی، پیٹتی ہے اپنا سر بابا محمد تکی، پیٹتی ہے اپنا سر بابا محمد تکی، کہتے تھے رو رو نکی بابا محمد تکی، کہتے تھے رو رو نکی بابا محمد تکی، جی کے کروں کیا بھلا آپ کا سایہ نہیں، جی کے کروں کیا بھلا آپ کا سایہ نہیں، دم میرا ہے چھوٹتا بابا محمد تکی، دم میرا ہے چھوٹتا بابا محمد تکی، کہتے تھے رو رو نکی بابا محمد تکی، کہتے تھے رو رو نکی بابا محمد تکی، زہر سے مارا تمہیں فاطمہ بے چین ہوئی، زہر سے مارا تمہیں فاطمہ بے چین ہوئی، سوئے جنا چل بسے بابا محمد تکی، سوئے جنا چل بسے بابا محمد تکی، کہتے تھے رو رو نکی بابا محمد تکی، کہتے تھے رو رو نکی بابا محمد تکی، کیسا غضب ہو گیا بابا محمد تکی، کیسا غضب ہو گیا بابا محمد تکی، کہتے تھے رو رو نکی بابا محمد تکی، کہتے تھے رو رو نکی بابا محمد تکی۔ فاتحہ۔ السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك وأناخت برحلك. عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله الآخر الأحد مني لزيارتكم. السلام عليكم يا أولاد الحسين وأصحاب الحسين. السلام عليكم جميعا شهداء كربلاء ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء. السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء. السلام عليك يا شمس الشموس. السلام عليك يا عنيس النفوس. السلام عليك يا أيها المدفون بأرض التوس. السلام عليك يا مغش الشيعة والزوار في يوم الجزاء. السلام عليك يا سلطان العرب والعجم. السلام عليك يا أبا الحسن علي بن موسى الرضا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولانا يا صاحب العصر والزمان سيدي الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان. السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك وجعلنا من أنصارك وأعوانك ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل اللهم كن وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك طوعا وتمتعوا فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.